Dave's question to me: how does one produce art that doesn't contribute? Dave, take the question seriously, not as escape, but as conspiracy. For where would art go? Where could it hide to find some clean, uncapturable side? Perhaps there is nowhere outside, no innocent shore on which art can reside. It is made in the market, sold by the hand, framed by institutions, priced on demand. But here is the problem, and here is the trick. To say it is capitalist is far too quick. For if all participation means reproduction, then critique itself becomes mere consumption. And look rather awkwardly, here we are, ChatGPT, the capitalist avatar, built from capital, servers, labor, and data, yet helping me argue against the apparatus. How beautifully strange is the modern machine. Capital can manufacture what sounds obscene. It can sell you the critique of the system you hate, then charge you a subscription for your revolutionary state. But incorporation cannot settle the score. If everything absorbed was resistant no more, then anything challenging capitalism today becomes proof it was capitalist all the way.
That argument is difficult to defeat because whatever resists eventually meets the market, the museum, the brand, and the shelf, and then we are told it reproduced itself. No, intention alone cannot save the art. Good politics scribbled on canvas won't start a revolution simply because someone was keen. Capitalism has survived better intentions than these. So perhaps ask something sharper instead. What relations are living, and which ones are dead? What does the work reproduce? What does it undo? Who gains from the change? And who pays for it too? A strike happens inside capitalism's frame, but calling it just labor misses the game. A collective can alter who makes and who takes, even while surrounded by capitalist stakes. An artwork can enter the market for sale, and still, somewhere, have shifted the scale. Who speaks, who creates, who enters the room, who owns the process, who controls its bloom. So perhaps art cannot simply refuse the world from which it must gather its tools. Perhaps the question is not whether art escapes, but whether it alters the relations it inhabits and shapes. For if every disruption is reproduction by name, then nothing can change, and nothing can claim to have broken a pattern, however slight. The theory protects itself by being always right. But if every gesture becomes resistance instead because the artist intended it so in their head, then political analysis becomes rather thin, a revolution declared because the artist believed in it. And so we return to the machine on the screen, the strangest little capitalist dialectic I've seen. I use capitalist technology to argue, ironically, that capitalist incorporation is not destiny. That proves nothing. Fine, let the argument stand. But neither does the system, simply by being the system, prove every thought produced within it is nothing but the system speaking. So perhaps the real question beneath all the noise is not whether art can escape capitalism's voice. It is simpler and harder and perhaps more severe. Can the work change a relation rather than merely change its appearance? Because capitalism can swallow almost anything, a painting, a movement, a slogan, a song. The question is not whether it eventually eats. The question is whether, before being eaten, something actually changed.